Hi, I'm Albert Vega with Building Momentum.
And I'm Tim Bailey. We're going to be unboxing the Ultimaker 3 today. So if you've never done 3D printing before, or you've never put together a 3D printer, today is your lucky day. We're going to be showing you how to do it from the very beginning.
Yep, indeed, and we're really excited about this. We use the Ultimaker 2 a lot, but the one thing about the Ultimaker 3 that's really exciting, 2 nozzles, we get to do support materials. So let's get started.
All right? 9% assembled, it looks like.
That's too easy. Yeah, I like easy. That works for me. Let's go ahead and snip some of these clips that allow the heads to move around without cutting myself.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and open up the accessory box
And
check it out.
Just want to show you the back of the printer. So these are where the 2 materials are going to be fed through 2 nozzles. And they're going to go to our print head. Turn it back around, which is right here. Fantastic.
So inside the accessory box, it comes with this nifty quick start guide. So step 1 is to download the Ultimaker app. So Ultimaker offers an app to get the Ultimaker 3 started with the tips and support guides actually inside the app. Step 2 is just to remove the packaging, which we've already been doing. And then install the printer. So we are going to pull the pieces out. This is your
the glass plate, and it's really easy to use. There's these little retention clips in here, so that we can just slide the glass plate into place. Here you go, Tim.
It says push into the back clips. So there are clips in the back of the build plate. Gotcha. Oh, I want to line it up a little better.
Fantastic. And then just little clips slide in.
Rotate those clips in the front. And that's it. We're done. The box. So we've got
Nozzles, it looks like.
nozzles and
Power supply.
power supply.
Fantastic. I will plug this in or get it ready to be plugged in.
And we have
Spool holders.
place the printer on its side.
That's good to do.
And then,
We can feed the cable through there.
yes.
There's a little place right here for the cable to go through, and I'm going to... There it is. So once you install a little spool holder, there's a little bit of a slot for the cable to go through, and there's one more slot on the bottom of the printer to feed the cable through, and there's one connection right in here, and I can't see which way it is. I'm going to guess, and I guessed right. There it is. Plugged it in. So we see a little connector from the spool goes through here, plugs in right here. There's 2 extra nozzles that come with it, and one of the nice things is they look fairly easy to install and remove right here. There we are. There it is. So they slide in and out. Yeah, it looks really, really handy to change nozzles. It looks like everything that came to us, one of them says AA 0.4, so does another one, and this one says BB 0.4. I'm assuming the 0.4 is the diameter of the nozzle, so that's 0.4 millimeters. And if you need to change out for certain materials or have other options, I'm sure you can buy different sized ones. There's probably some available online. But let's go ahead and just set it up for one material, okay? And get started that way. Let's just place it in. There we go. That was pretty easy.
That's amazing. Most of the time to switch out nozzles is a hugely long process, right?
Right. You have to retract the material while it's hot, and then remove the nozzle with a wrench, and try not to burn yourself. So this is actually a really cool idea. As long as you can not have to use any tools, it's a tool-free removal system. It's a whole lot nicer than almost anything I've seen before. The Ultimaker 2, you did have to use a tool to remove it. They did some great thinking with the Ultimaker 3.
Alright, so other things that came in this box include a tiny 16 gig thumb drive. We've got the little screwdriver.
Fantastic. Probably for doing some adjustments on the bottom. That actually fits on
It's a
the
hex
bottom.
head.
Yep.
So we've got Magnalube, we've got the Uhu stick, which is for putting on the build plate
Fantastic.
to keep things stuck down to the build plate while they're moving. And we've also got the Unilube on here.
Great.
So all of those are mostly maintenance things, except for the stick. And we've also got the Ethernet cable in here, so there's an Ethernet port in the back. So instead of doing wireless, you can also do this directly hooked into an Ethernet.
The Ultimaker 2 had a SD card slot on the front. They've opted to replace that for USB, and it looks like this is Wi-Fi enabled. So instead of needing that hard connection or to always physically remove or place a drive in there, you know, this has a lot more connectivity options.
All right,
All right,
ready
so
to start it up.
if we're ready to start it up, would you like the honors? There you
Going
go.
on.
And let's check that out.
You go around to the front and see what it's saying. It's booting up.
Fantastic. We win the internets. So I'm going to grab one of these materials here. Let's grab the PLA, which is our print material. And it's nice that they actually gave us a sample of PVA. And so PVA is nice because that dissolves in water. And you can end up with some really nice parts because sometimes, even though you make support material, or at least support structures out of the build material, they don't always come out quite nice. And I think I've stabbed anybody who does 3D printing has definitely damaged their hands trying to remove support material at some time. So having dissolvable support material, fantastic.
All right. Oh, this is interesting. So on the back, I thought this looked really long for a spool holder, but it's actually set up so that the second spool goes in first, and then the first spool goes over here. And those are numbered and lined up to the feed tubes, so it's very obvious which filament we're using, which head that's going to go to in the back, which is very nice.
And the thing too I like about this is that these are wide enough to accept a lot of standard spools of material that are sold on the internet. So,
All right.
so it says carefully open the printhead fan bracket. So it's moved the fan here, and that's the printhead fan bracket. I can hit confirm, and AA 0.4 print core detected. So it actually detects the actual nozzle that's inside there. That's actually really slick. The slot 1, I hit continue. And for the first run, we will use print core 2 for PVA material. I will hit continue. And so it's asking for BB in there. So one of the nice things about this, even though we read through the instructions, it's already helping us out. So we're getting better. The machine loves us. So I'm going to install this one just because it asked. It was nice. So I said, sure, why not? All right. And a little LED turns on too. That's fantastic. So it said it was detected in print head 2, and I'll just hit continue. Carefully close the print head fan bracket. I will close that and confirm that. There we go. The next step is to load the printer with materials. We'll hit continue. Remove all the materials from the spool holder. Tim. Waiting. And so I think it's warming up so that we can actually load the materials. Because if we try to load materials, try to force material through the nozzle while it's cold, it won't go anywhere. We need hot nozzles. So we'll start the material for print core 2.
You want to go ahead and open this up and put it in?
Let's see what it asks. It says place the new spool on the spool holder. Sure, let's do that. There's a little actuator on the side that allows you to feed through the material through the back. Let's see if we can demonstrate. Tim's actuating that there. And
That's really tough to
actually, I can feel it kind of grabbing. There we go. There we are. So it's actually inside now. And right now it was just asking, what material's in there. It waits to heat up the nozzle, and once it's at the right temperature, you can actually see the material going through, and it is just about to hit the nozzle, and looks like there is some other material in the nozzle. So click confirm when the material is being extruded. So it moved the line quickly so it can get close to the nozzle, and now it's just slowing it down so that right when you see it coming out of the nozzle, you can hit the confirm button, and then you know that you're properly loaded. So the Ultimaker also differentiates itself from a lot of other 3D printers by actually having the motor that drives the material in the back. A lot of other 3D printers have the motor, the extruder motor, up right by the head. So those are pull while this one does push.
And that will allow it to use different materials, correct?
Yeah, and this is another reason why this takes the 3mm, I think it's the 3mm diameter material as opposed to the 1.75 or much smaller. And I think that's it. We are getting material through it. It's still cleaning out old material. Looks like some darker filament was actually in there. I'm going to go ahead and let it run until the actual PVA actually comes out. And
it's getting clearer.
Looks pretty clear now. And so it just says, click confirm when material is being extruded from Print Core 2. Looks pretty good right now. I'm going to click confirm. And it's now we'll insert the material for Print Core 1. Okay. So we're going to do the exact same process on the other side. Load up the build material and also feed it through the extruder.
Feels gripped.
Feels grippy?
Yep.
All right, I will hit continue. Let's place the new spool with the installed material on the spool holder. Continue.
Okay.
So it seems like Ultimaker 3 did a really nifty trick by putting near-field communication tags on some of the materials. It just seemed to get a little bit confused by which one was actually trying to be loaded with both of them sitting on the spool. So what we've done is we've taken off the PVA spool so it only thinks that the PLA build material is back there. And then when we're ready to print, we'll just put them both on the spool and it should work just fine. Fingers crossed. So check and confirm when it's getting close. We're actually pretty far. Let's speed this up. If you just push in the material a little bit further, can you? That's actually a tight. It's not what you do. All right. Yeah. We'll just have to.
So the little release handle in the back that we're pushing on, this button that it wants you to push, actually releases the tension. It pulls the gears on the motor apart so that the material can slide up through faster.
Well, we still got to tear up the part.
And when we let it back down, the gears interlock around the material and rotate to push it through.
Close.
So we're trying to pull them back apart again, push the material a little faster because it's got a long way to go. Actually, it's close now. It's entering in.
Yeah. Just try to fast forward a little bit just to see. There we go. Step around and turn it off when we start to see material flowing out of it. And once we have material flowing out of this nozzle, that means we're ready to go. We have material support. We have support material in nozzle 2. We have build material in nozzle 1, and we can do a test burn. So one of the cool things that I do see about this is that the nozzles are at different height. So it looks like the support material is just a little bit lower. So I think it actually has an actuator that can make one of the nozzles move up, one of the nozzles move down. Or maybe it's just the force of the material going through it pushes the nozzles. But it also helps when you're trying to build support or build material that you don't bump into the thing you just built with the other material. And I think I see a little bit of material coming out. Hooray, we are there. I'll let it run for a little bit just in case there's any extra material that's actually in the nozzle from the last material that was there. But all right, perfect. So now it says wait a moment for Print Core 1 to cool down. And now we can connect to the Wi-Fi network or skip to use LAN cable or USB drive. We'll just use the USB drive. We'll hit skip because it's a little bit easier to do that. Could not retrieve online update information. That's fantastic. And we can do print via Cura or we can do a USB drive. And so we'll see what's on the USB drive right now. I put it in there, click Let's Print, and see what is there. How does an Ultibot sound, Tim?
Ultibot sounds great.
Fantastic. I'm going to click on that. Preparing to build. So there's something on here called active leveling. I don't know what that does. I'm going to click it. See what happens. Remove some of the material that's in there. It says active leveling in progress. Waiting. That is quite fancy. An automatic bed leveling process. We teach classes in 3D printing and computer-aided design, and one of the lot of problems of failed prints is not leveling your bed correctly. And when you have a big rat's nest or spaghetti nest or bird's nest, or your object just slid off somehow, some way through the print, probably that problem came from not leveling your bed correctly. So it's looking like it goes through it 2 times. This is quite slick.
That is. Because I have a printer that doesn't do automatic bed leveling, and trying to manually level the 4 corners of the bed is always a painful process. And so the fact that so many of these new printers do that automatically is fantastic.
And I do like automagic. Alright, so it looks like the active leveling process is still going, but it might be finishing up soon, hopefully. Fingers crossed. There we go. How often do you want the printer to actively level your plate? I'll just continue, and I will select after startup. So that makes a lot of sense. Like after you start up, you probably want to make sure that you do that. It looks like it's an option we can go back and change, because if somebody scrapes hard to get their object off of that, you might have actually changed the tilt to the level of the build plate. So it looks like it's an option you can go back and change. So let's go back to build something. There we go. Step back around so you can see what's going on.
So I'm interested to see if the Ultibot uses both filaments or only the silver.
It's interesting. Depends on how it was sliced, I guess. But, actually, let me do this real quick. See if I can get Cura to do the Ultimaker 3. Let's see. So I have Cura. There we go. Fantastic. So right now I have the Ultimaker 2 Plus. I'm going to manage my printers, or at least add one. Add a printer. And up here we have Ultimaker 3. We don't have the Ultimaker 3 Extended. So I have...
The Extended just means it's a taller Ultimaker, correct?
Correct. So I'll add that printer. There we go. Connect to... We're not going to do that. See that? No, I do not have a network connected printer, so I'll just click Finish. There we go. Now we have the option for the Ultimaker 3, and I will close. So now, for the Ultimaker 3, I have PLA Print Core 1 and PLA Print Core 2. However, I should probably change that to PVA. So I'm going to Print Core 2, do BB. PVA. There we go. So now how I have it set up is Print Core 1 is PLA, Print Core 2 is PVA. So whenever I build something, or if I take an object and slice that up, now it'll understand that if I do support materials, I should be able to use, try and find STL. But for demonstration purposes, we just want to see how this is going to slice up and see what happens when I add support materials. And just kind of get a feel for what Cura is doing to our model before we send it to the printer, and just see how it reacts to it. So I have here, I'm not going to worry about too many things, but I'm going to enable support right around here. I click that, and then it says support extruder. It gives me some options, and I say PLA. No, I want PVA, Print Core 2. And there we go. And it's already thinking about what it wants to do, and it's slicing the actual model. Oh, action. There we go. So it looks like certain parts of the model, there's some support material laid in blue, and since we've selected that the support material should be PVA instead of using the build material, it uses a dissolvable support material. And it looks like it even does a little cube off to the side. I don't know why. So if we fed this to the printer, we should actually see 2 materials being printed at the same, well, not at the same time, but one being for support and one being for the actual material. And exciting. Oh, we never did put on the glue stick.
We did not.
We'll see if it sticks, folks. We'll see if it sticks. But that's pretty much it. We unboxed the Ultimaker 3.
It's printing.
Cool advancements from the Ultimaker 2. This one has 2 nozzles. This one has easily replaceable nozzles.
Incredibly easy to replace.
And it detects what they are. And it also has a neat feature which kind of tries to detect what materials you're putting onto it, but we found that was a little problematic. So we had to fool the printer into thinking that there wasn't 2 materials back here, but maybe there was. So again, maybe a few little hiccups in the path to getting to the print for the first time, but you know what? Overall, great printer. We'll be continued testing it to see how well prints do with dissolvable support material. And yeah, we'll be printing out stuff, and maybe we'll get some more results back on for future dates. Again, I'm Albert Vega from Building Momentum.
And I'm Tim Bailey. Thanks for watching our unboxing of the Ultimaker 3.
There you go. Have fun, guys.